Hello, everybody, and bon compleanno, Charles. Charles, your birthday today, it's 27. So, as you can see, we've got Greg with us here. We're going to have a bit of a chat about Charles and celebrate his birthday all over the channel, social media. It's all about Charles today. So, happy birthday, Charles. Have a great day. Thoughts to Charles, as always.
Yeah, so we thought we'd have a little chat about Charles today. It's Ferrari's dream, isn't he? He's sort of the good looks, good character, great personality. The fans love him. Obviously, he's come through the driver academy. We all want him to win the championship. So we'll have a little chat about the few years he's been in Formula One. So we're going to start in 2018 when he was with Alfa Romeo Sauber. So we got Greg here as well. So, Greg, what do you remember about the 2018 season with Charles?
Well, Charles in 2018, right. Well, he thoroughly deserved the seat, of course. That's for sure. And being a Ferrari guy, we were hoping he was going to have a great season so he could be elevated into the first team. But, I mean, he naturally had a slow start, which is fine, isn't it? I mean, in Australia, he had a few spins and stuff, and he was outperformed by Ericsson in the early goings. But, yeah, then we got to see the true driver that he is as the season developed.
Yeah. And we had the sixth in Azerbaijan. He loves Azerbaijan, as we know. Street circuits he's really good at. That was a great result in that car. And then he started to annihilate Ericsson, didn't he? Week in, week out. Then we had the Spa incident, which was a bit worrying. Luckily, we got the halo, with Alonso coming over the top of him. You remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you see some of the images, they're absolutely crazy. We criticised the halo when it first come about, but I mean, obviously it saved Charlie Boy on that occasion. And
absolutely, yeah. And then he finished the championship 13th, which was pretty decent in that car, really.
And then strongly, actually, with those places near the end, and he was absolutely slaughtering Ericsson at the end, and thoroughly deserved a Ferrari drive, I thought.
Yeah, totally agree. And then, 2019, he replaced Kimi, obviously starting at the Australian Grand Prix. A good result, 5th, which was not too bad for his first time in Ferrari. And then we got Bahrain, where he got pole. And I think he's the youngest pole sitter for Ferrari. But unfortunately, the race didn't go his way with the engine issues. And then we had the Belgian Grand Prix, which was obviously a difficult weekend, as we know from the Saturday with Hubert, unfortunately, tragically dying in the race, the F2 race. He won the Belgian Grand Prix, which was a difficult one. And then moving on to Monza, he won the Italian Grand Prix, which was amazing. And he beat Vettel that particular season, finishing 4th in the championship with Vettel finishing 5th. So, Greg, what do you remember that 2019 season with Charles?
Going back to Australia, I think the writing was on the wall, wasn't it? When Seb was already getting the team orders to say, he's going to stay behind you. So he's obviously like, Christ, this guy's quick. But the first race already, Leclerc's having to be restrained by Ferrari. So, and then it all come out in Bahrain when Charles was told to stay behind him. And then he went and overtook him. So obviously Charles was like, I'm not accepting this. I'm going to be dethrone Seb here and take them one. And as the year played out, that's exactly what happened, wasn't it? Especially the second half of the season. Seb was absolutely in his shadow, wasn't he? I mean,
absolutely.
It could have been 3 wins, but Ferrari were being kind to Seb in Singapore and more or less let him have that one.
So we knew we got this guy who was the real deal, wasn't he, when we saw him in 2019. When we went to 2020, unfortunately, the car was not great, and obviously, he finished 8th in the championship. Vettel was 13th, which was a awful season. He had the crash in Monza as well. Obviously, it was COVID year as well, so there were fans around. 2020, Greg, I bet you were very frustrated.
Because it had been a long time, obviously, since the 2019 season finished, wasn't it? We was wait to the middle of the summer, and then Charles had a giant killing performance immediately in Austria, finishing 2nd in that car, which was ridiculous because, as you see in the races that followed that, the car was so uncompetitive. He had his usual good Silverstone performance. I think 4th in those 2 races. One was called something else, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, the 70th anniversary.
That's right.
Yeah, the rest of the year it was slim pickings, wasn't it? And the big crash at Monza at the Parabolica, and just out overdriving the car really in that point. But
yeah, that's right. He was just trying to really overkill the car, and it just wasn't working for him, was it? And then they were coming into 2021. It was the first time ever Charles has been beaten by a teammate in racing. Sainz finished fifth, and Charles finished seventh. How did you see that season, Greg? 2021.
I think Carlos was underestimated, wasn't he? He was a lot stronger than we thought. Possibly, it was all in one race. It was a lot to do with when Charles took a strategy gamble, it failed miserably, and then Carlos got a podium. I think podiums was 4-1 in Carlos's favour. But whenever Charles did finish strong, Carlos was right behind him. So the points difference was always like, if Charles had a bad day, Sainz took big points. Whenever Charles finished strongly, he was maybe 2-3 points ahead. So I don't think you can read much into that final score, especially in Abu Dhabi when the same thing happened again, really. I think Sainz got the podium and Charles was way down because of the stupid strategy again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then moving on to 2022, I mean, this was the chance Charles had of winning the Formula One championship. It didn't quite work out. We had the usual issues in the pits and so on. Finished second. Luckily, just picked Perez in Abu Dhabi. Didn't need to take the second position. Sainz finished fifth in the end. Again, how do you find that season? Was it frustrating again?
How do I summarise 2022 in a couple of minutes? I don't know. We could have won this championship, but I think midway, clearly Max was sweeping up and we were just not ready to take on, it was like McLaren this year. You have to get your house sorted, and we had a quick car, but we didn't have the ingredients to get it done. And as I say, we had driver errors, strategy errors, some abysmal strategy errors, reliability problems, and it took years off all of our lives. I think 2022. It's the best way.
I totally agree. We had such a chance that year, didn't we? If we got things in the right position.
Usually if you start off with a 1-2 in the first race, it's good luck, isn't it? But it really materialised in that respect.
And moving on to 2023, unfortunately, no wins for Charles in 23. Fifth place in the championships. His teammate Sainz was seventh. Again, a difficult season as a Tifosi, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a car that just simply wasn't up to the job. I mean, it was a fabulous qualifying car, and you saw Charles's speed. He had quite a few pole positions. I can't remember how many, 5, 6, 7, I don't know. But in the race, it just wasn't up to scratch. But he did finish the year very strongly, which would indicate maybe that 2024 something's changed. And I like the way he finished that season. The Vegas pass on Perez was awesome.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah, amazing. I think he's sort of matured, hasn't he, over those few years with those issues with trying to overkill the car and making mistakes. He's definitely sort of matured a little bit the last year or so in driving. And moving on to 2024, obviously the season's obviously not finished yet. We've had the two massive wins for him, which was immense, Monaco and Italy. He's third in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, fifth Sainz. It's all about McLaren, unfortunately, at the moment, isn't it? But both drivers are doing what they can in the car they've got.
Yeah, he started the year a bit curiously, really. Carlos was outperforming him, which is kind of what I thought wouldn't happen. Carlos was out of the job, so I just thought, his head will be down. Charles will go of him. And it took till Imola when Charles really started to pick up, and he was on a great run. And then we had the dip, didn't we, after Canada, where we were awful. After that, he's been absolutely immense, really. I
mean, Charles had that little period, didn't he? He just looked really frustrated, disappointed, non-motivated, didn't he? Everything was going against him, wasn't it, for that period?
Every single Ferrari season, there are ups and downs, and with Charles, you see that a lot, don't you? He can't do, or we can't do, the perfect season. There's, just when things are going so well, we can't forecast an unexplainable downturn in fortunes. It seems to keep happening, and then all of a sudden it creeps up again at the end.
That's it. You think the car's great, and then suddenly the next race you qualify like 14th or 15th, so you say, what is going on?
Well, this season's mad. We've gone from second quickest to fourth quickest, then third quickest, second quickest, third, fourth, and it's just fluctuated. time. Isn't it?
Yeah, I said in the last podcast with Toby, it just seems if you got the car right and maybe the temperature's right for your car, and just you got everything right, just make that real game.
I remember. I mean, I think the biggest crazy for me was the Zandvoort, because during practice it was like I think we were 11th and 14th or something like that, or something like practice 2. We were like absolutely nowhere. And I remember I was sitting there with Peter, and he showed me in the stands. He showed me the Ferrari right after the practice. He showed me. It said the Ferrari post. It just said we're in the mix, and we were both like, "What?" Like 11th and 14th, we're in the mix, and we're like rolling our eyes and having a laugh, And then we finished third. Like on race day, Charles gets the podium, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like,
I was in Genoa watching that in a cafe, and I literally sat down thinking, oh well, 6th is the best we can probably do today. Just try and hold position. Maybe cars can nick a point, from outside the top 10, and like we were on fire. Like wow, like where the hell did that come from?
I know. I remember. I remember your Facebook post. It just said, "Let's get this over with," or something like that. And there was a picture of you with like a couple of beers and a TV, and it was just like, "Let's get this over with." Yeah,
me and the alcohol were looking to get it done. Like the alcohol's there. It's good that at least some things can surprise you now in F1, because we don't get many surprises now. But that was a genuine surprise.
Yeah.
No one saw. I don't think the team could ever forecast that too. Just going forward the whole race for a change. It's like wow. We've got one McLaren behind us. We've now got, we're now chasing Max at the end. We're like 3 seconds behind Max.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see Monza coming either. I've got to be honest. That was like a slap in the face. It was like, where's that come from? Yeah. I mean, it was the strategy for a change, that we actually called the right strategy for once,
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we been on the receiving end of the same strategy? When you've got 2 cars defending, naturally you do the cautious approach, and the guy behind you's gung-ho. We were the gung-ho for a change, and it was so nice,
So the other thing you do, Greg, which I really want to mention, is you do the on the social media, primarily Instagram, but you take orders through Facebook, is the Greg's F1 shop, and you sell models of not just Ferrari cars, but every kind of Ferrari car that you have, all kind of models, all kind of everything.
Yep, 1/43 scale F1 cars from all teams across all decades. There are a few Ferraris in there still that haven't gone. I'm also going to be selling off a few 1/5 scale helmets from the Kashi Pelotti collection soon as well.
Right.
So look out for them.
Amazing. I saw you put the 96 car, the 7-Up Jordan car on there the other day. So I was just staring at it, thinking it's just a beautiful car. I love it. But
yes, it is.
Yeah. So anyway, everybody, you're listening or watching this, go and check it out, and go and spend some money at Greg's F1 shop.
Greg, thanks for joining us on Charles's birthday and giving your great input regarding it. Today's all about Charles that we talked about. So we've got our quiz question on Charles. We've got reels on Charles. We've got this podcast on Charles. We'd like you to share your memorabilia on Charles, your die-cast cars, caps, anything like that. Also, any selfies you got with Charles or any pictures you've taken Charles, we want it spread out all on the Facebook page today on Ferrari channel, Model of Maranello. So please get involved, and happy birthday, Charles. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Have a great day, Charles, and thank you, Greg, for joining us.
Cheers, pleasure to be part of it.